Stop, 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 I said stop. Oh stop. Please stop, Jennifer begged. The night was dark and scary. The wind made a loud sound, like a hungry monster. The village was quiet, but something was waiting. Something was watching. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. In a little house at the edge of the village, Jennifer was sitting all alone. Her small lights flickered. Shadows moved on the walls. The room was very cold, too cold. Jennifer pulled her old blanket around her shoulders. She felt scared. The night felt wrong, like something bad was coming. Then, knock, knock, knock. Someone knocked on her door. The knocks were slow and deep. Jennifer's heart jumped. Nobody ever came to visit her at night. No one should be out there. Knock, knock, knock. The knocks were louder. Jennifer stood up. Her legs felt weak. Who is there? Jennifer asked. No answer. The wind made the trees outside move. They made scary sounds. Then, a voice. A deep voice. A smooth voice. It was too smooth. Jennifer, the voice whispered. Jennifer's eyes grew big. Who are you? She asked. The voice laughed softly. It was not a nice laugh. I am your future, the voice said. Jennifer's chest felt tight. She wanted to scream. Don't open the door. But her hands were moving by themselves. Slowly, she turned the handle of the door. The door creaked open. A tall man was standing there. He wore black clothes. His eyes were dark. Too dark. His smile was big. Too big. Hello, Jennifer, the man said. Jennifer could not speak. She could not move. The man filled the room. He made the air feel heavy. Who are you? Jennifer asked with a shaking voice. My name is Ghanian, he said. I have come for you. His voice was soft, like silk. But something about it made Jennifer's skin feel cold. Jennifer took a step back. Ghanian smiled. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a little bag. He threw it onto the table. The sound of gold coins spilling out. Jennifer's eyes grew wide. There was more gold than she had ever seen in her life. Marry me, Jennifer, Ghanian said. Come with me to my house. Jennifer stared at the gold. Her heart pounded in her chest. She had no family. She had no home. She had nothing. But something inside her screamed, don't go with him. But her lips said, yes. Ghanian smiled even more. His smile grew wider, and it looked a little bit scary. Good, he whispered. That night, the villagers saw Jennifer leave. She was in a black carriage. The horses had red eyes. The carriage wheels made no sound at all. The old women in the village whispered to each other. She should not have gone with him. That man is not a good man. But no one stopped Jennifer. No one could. The carriage rode into the dark forest. Jennifer felt a chill. It made her spine feel cold. The trees were tall and scary. They looked twisted. The moon was hidden behind dark clouds. Inside the carriage, Ghanian sat next to Jennifer. He didn't blink. He didn't breathe. He only stared at her. Jennifer looked at his hands. His fingers were long. Too long. She shivered. You are cold, Ghanian said. His voice was smooth, but it made Jennifer shiver even more. Before Jennifer could answer, he touched her hand. His hand was ice cold. Jennifer pulled her hand away fast. Ghanian just smiled. They rode on and on. The trees got darker. The road seemed to never end. Then, a scream. It was far away. Deep in the forest. A woman's scream. Jennifer's heart jumped. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. Damien's smile grew bigger. "Yes," he said, his voice low. And then he laughed. It was a deep, terrible laugh. Finally, the carriage stopped. Jennifer looked up. There was a big, dark mansion. It was hidden deep in the forest. The windows were all black. The air smelled bad, like something old and rotten. The door opened all by itself. Jennifer stepped inside. It was cold. The air was freezing. The walls were covered in dark curtains. There were no mirrors. There were no pictures. The servants stood in a line. Their faces were pale. Their eyes looked empty. None of them said anything. Jennifer felt cold all over. Damien turned to her. His smile was gone. His face was serious. "This is your home now," he said. His voice was deep. It felt different. It felt strange. Then he took her hand. His grip was too strong. His fingers felt wrong. Jennifer felt like something was very, very wrong. Later, Damien took her to her bedroom. The bed was big. It was covered in red silk. The windows had thick iron bars. Damien locked the door. He turned to Jennifer. His eyes were glowing in the dark. "Never wake up after midnight," he said in a voice that made Jennifer feel afraid. Then he blew out the candle. The room went dark. Jennifer lay in bed. She felt her heart racing. The sheets were cold. The air felt heavy. She couldn't sleep. Then, a sound. A soft whisper. Jennifer froze. She turned her head slowly. Damien wasn't in bed with her. The whisper was coming from the corner of the room. Jennifer squinted in the dark. She saw something move. Her heart pounded. Then she saw them. Eyes. They were red. They glowed in the dark. Damien was crouching in the corner. His body was twisted. His bones cracked. His mouth stretched into a big grin. His teeth were sharp. "Jennifer," he whispered. His voice was not smooth now. It was deep and scary. Jennifer felt ice in her veins. "You should never have said yes," Damien said. Then he crawled toward her. His fingers were longer. His nails were sharp. His skin looked dark and broken. Jennifer opened her mouth to scream. But Damien was already on top of her. The villagers never saw Jennifer again. But sometimes, on quiet nights, deep in the forest, you can hear a woman's cry. And if you look at the dark mansion, you might see two red eyes staring back at you. Watching. Waiting. Because now, there is not just one devil in the forest. There are two.